How's it going, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to our latest edition, Chart Request Live. It's our favorite show, at least for Patrick and I. Love to come on here. Love to hang out with you guys, talk in the chat, hear what kind of tickers and stocks you're watching these days. We're going to chart them all live for you here. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock. How are you, Pat?
I'm doing great. And you know what? This isn't just any Thursday. Can you guess why it's special?
So it's an anniversary. Is that where you're going?
That's where I was going with it.
Tell the people why today is special.
Today's the 1-year anniversary of the market's bottom. I know you know it very well. You remember that massive reversal candle we had?
Wait, this one?
You always like looking at the cues with your bottoming patterns there. You were looking at the same thing at the COVID lows.
Look at this candle, though. So it's funny, right? Because it's been 1 year, and this was the epic bullish engulfing up like, 2.35% in the Qs that day. But what was really, what really stood out about this candle at the time is that we flushed lower, right? It looked like the market was collapsing. It came on the heels of...
We opened at a new bear market low, yeah.
Because it
on
came
bad
on
economic news.
A hot CPI report at 8:30 that day, opened lower, and then they just, rallied it higher all day. And that was really the bottom. You see the same thing on the SPY right here. Look at this one, right? So monster bullish engulfing, right? And I was saying on Twitter just before, it's been about a year since I've seen candles like that. And it just happened again over here the other day, right? So here's
on Friday, we had that gap down, massive reversal. And we had another one back in February of 2022 that led to a bear market rally that topped out in March. So it's kind of very similar action. You have this gap lower on bad economic news, happened 3 times now since the market peak. And then you have this massive engulfing candle. So
what are the most bullish candles, Pat? I mean, there's no right answer, right? But like, what asked you that?
I was gonna say hammer at first, but I know where you're going with this. So why don't you?
No, I don't think there's a right answer. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking that because the engulfing candle this time marked the lows where it wasn't like a hammer. It was this really bullish engulfing thing. Started off with gap lower and then kind of ripped people's face off. Anybody who got bearish.
So this is the example that we've been using, right? Because it illustrates it the best. These cybersecurity stocks are red hot right now. I'm very exciting. We're publishing a report. It should be out tomorrow. It's a deep dive into the cyberspace. I think this trend has legs. So we're just going to outline our favorite names. Anyway.
All right. Well, we got to get to the chat. I see Wavy in there. I see Rachel in there. What's going on, guys? So we got to get to some of the ones where people emailed us first. And just so you guys know, you can always email us your tickers at questions@stockmarketmedia.com, and we'll be sure to cover your chart requests. So let's start with AKAM, AKAM. Oh, you got blue light glasses on there?
What?
You got blue light glasses?
No, I used to. I don't know if that really works or not. That's to look at the computer screen, right?
Yeah.
Akamai. Sure. Let's zoom out. Software? This one, we did this one a few weeks ago, didn't we, Pat?
Yeah, probably.
Why do I always think this is the airbag company?
So what do you think?
It's tech stock, so I want to see where it is in relation to its .com bubble highs.
It's definitely trying to fill that gap. Looks like it's almost done it.
Monthly chart, still climbing up the right-hand side of this wall back to these .com bubble highs, which would, bring it to 350. So a long ways to go. Looked at like an ultra long-term structure here. Do we have any levels? That's interesting. One's coming into play there. Maybe you jump it, right? You use that 38% retrace, but don't exactly use the fib. Use like the pivot highs here around 120, right? Jump an entry, and then use the 62% as your target at 215. Secondary target back to those old all-time highs of 350. The reason why I zoomed so far out to find an entry is because if I were to zoom in, we're still basing here, right? Shelf of resistance up here that, sure, could you trade it from here, these pivot highs back up to this shelf of old highs, right? So like 108 and change back to, I don't know, 120. Yeah, but that's not really a trade that I'm interested in just due to the low profit potential on it. So I would say wait, be patient, let it get back up, to the upper bounds here. This is really a major breakout level, right? The shelf of highs started back in 2020. It'll probably take some time to work through. It's not just going to run up there and blast right through. It's going to run up, probably absorb some overhead supply, eventually work through it. So I would say be patient. And there's a much bigger trade setting up here on a breakout above these old highs.
I see. Looks like it reports earnings November 7th. So you got about a month, give or take. But Sambo, get this. Sambo1618 said, I bought 0 DT NAS calls when I saw Straza in his bull market shirt this morning.
I love whoever that is. Who said that?
Is this your bull market shirt? Sambo1618.
I have a lot of them. We'll get some better ones out here in the next week or two. But no, it's funny. I was doing the live strategy session yesterday, and somebody said in the chat, like, Straza, you said you're so bullish. You're buying all these stocks. You're so long right now. I haven't seen a bull market. I said, oh my God, you're right. And
you know what? Whenever I think of Akamai, I think of Kenny Glick. Next time you see him, be sure to ask him about Akamai.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to TTD. This one comes from Joseph Briggs. He emailed this one to us. TTD, the trade desk.
Yeah. It's financial software?
I believe
or marketing.
So. I think they do marketing, like some marketing marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. Again, it kind of reminds me of Akamai. Like, there's still work to do here. I'd rather buy this base breakout. All right. So two ways we could do this, right?
Would you call that a head and shoulders?
No. What? Where would it be?
Yeah. So you have in 2022, you got the head, right shoulder all the way to the right.
I don't see it, Pat.
You don't see it?
No. Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. All right. But then we have another, similar reversal pattern indicating a trend reversal higher, right? More recently.
Yep.
I have this nice base here. You can get involved, right? You can use something like 85. I would do something like this. All right. Or like coiling here, right at the 62%. So yeah, you could trade this 85 back up to 113. But again, just like we talked about with Akamai, I think the bigger breakout and the bigger opportunity happens on the eventual upside resolution from this holding pattern that's been in place since 2020. Right. So really, I get more excited about a name like this above 113, but I think you can trade it back to there, 85 to 113. Another thing you could do just to try and pinpoint an entry, since we've been correcting, since July here, just drop a VWAP from the summer highs, right? Anything that's above its VWAP from the summer highs, probably a good vehicle right now, right? Anything that's below the VWAP from the summer highs, I probably want to stay away from. So this would check that box.
I see. So we've covered this one a couple of times. I don't know if you want to touch on it real quick. NextEra Energy.
Not really. I think I made my thoughts on utilities pretty clear over the past few weeks.
Well, in case listeners didn't hear what you had to say, would give us the quick synopsis.
There's really no sound investment thesis for these stocks right now, as long as treasury yields remain where they are, right? So look at the way this trend has really reversed course. Oof. This has been one of the leaders in utilities for my entire career. This is a uptrend line drawn off of the financial crisis lows, and you just see a very clear change in character here, right? With this break. Yeah. So for me, there are things that are working in this market. Google, Meta, tech stocks look great. Look at Adobe and Broadcom today. I mean, there are some stocks that are just performing so well. Why go try and catch a falling knife? I don't think there's anything to do here right now. If you are attracted by the dividend yield from these utility stocks, I would suggest just going and buying treasuries or finding a nice high yield savings account and making more interest that way. So this is just a tough one for me right now. I can't give utilities my blessing.
All right. Well, we won't do a utility. We won't do another tech next, but LBRT. This one is an energy stock.
Yep.
Liberty Energy, LBRT.
Services?
Yes, oil field services.
So this is it. Just IPO here in 2018?
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. 1% yield, mid cap, 3 billion and change. Oil field services and equipment. Okay, they're doing nat gas things.
Yeah, fracking looks
Colorado based. Okay, they're a fracker. Let's see how the fib lines up here.
And PJ, yes, you can absolutely ask about small caps. We'll try to get to those two in a second.
Here you go. This one's on its way, right? I think new all-time highs are very much in the cards for this name very soon. We've already retraced 62% of the drawdown from the 2018 highs. 2018 is when a lot of risk assets, particularly cyclicals, commodity-related assets, peaked. That was a big moment for the commodities market. I think for this one, you want to keep it clean. I have a weekly here. I will zoom into the daily. I want to see what the daily candles look like. But it's really, yeah, it's this shelf of highs. And this is every energy stock right now, right? If I pulled up a chart of XLE, it would look just like this, right? And what have we been saying about it? We need to see the range resolve before we have any conviction for energy stocks right now. What do we mean by that? You just have a very clear level. This one's a little bit sloppier than some of the other ones, right? But a pretty clean level, peak rollover, peak rollover, peak rollover. They just can't break through this shelf of highs. So for something like Liberty, I like it a lot. I think you get really aggressive, but get aggressive on a break. And this one's closer than a lot of its peers to doing that. I think you could use these pivot highs right here from 2 weeks ago, late September, 1880-ish.
Okay,
and then
okay.
Back to the all-time highs, and then you could fib it out from there if you want a secondary price target on this. Because I do think there will be a time for energy stocks where we're all obsessed with them again. I just don't think it'll be this year. Maybe
it's going to happen when no one's watching energy. That's when it'll happen.
Right. So I think that time's coming. You want to be prepared. We're probably a little bit early. This one, like I said, does look better than its peers. So you could take it 1880 flyer back to those all-time highs. Probably happens pretty quickly. And then from there, 37 would be the first Fibonacci extension.
I like it. 1880 is your level. All right. So let's move on to LFMD. This one's from PJ. Medical/nursing services. It's a telehealth company which engages in offering a portfolio of direct-to-patient products and services.
Telehealth, huh?
Yeah.
No, we can't do this one, Pat.
Why not?
240 million is a micro cap.
Okay, very, very small.
Yeah, sorry. Guys, happy to talk about any stocks, but just for purposes of not giving the wrong advice, anything under $1 billion, we kind of want to shy away from, unless it's super liquid and like a known name, right?
All right, so I guess we can't do micros, but we can do smalls. Why don't we do DLR?
Digital Realty?
Yeah, that one is 37 bill. So
this is the big boy. Yeah. Is this one of the biggest REITs left?
You know what? It's holding up a lot better than most REITs.
It is. Pat, I would defer to you on the REITs right now. You pointed out some pretty good looking ones to me the other day, and I was like delightfully surprised because I'm not. Right. Here's the thing. I'm looking for long opportunities. So naturally, I'm not looking at utilities, staples, or real estate stocks these days. I'm just not looking at them. It's a waste of my time. There's nothing
Yeah,
for me to
why
do.
look at the laggards, right?
Right. I'm looking at tech, I'm looking at communications, I'm looking at the good stuff, the juicy stuff, the stuff that looks ready to go. But you sent me some charts in real estate the other day that nice bases. This one kind of falls into that category, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and the reason I'm kind of hunting for those right now is if those sectors do turn around, you want
Yep.
to be in the leaders so that
100%.
when the sector's turning around, the strongest ones will probably continue.
100%. Yeah, no arguments there. So let's draw this nice, right? Because you got the downtrend starting on the left-hand side of the chart. See that falling 200-day moving average. Nice period of basing. This thing's been basing for, almost a year before breaking out earlier this summer. Hard retest, which overshot back below the base breakout level, which I'll just draw with a rectangle right here. You got a pretty clean base breakout level, right? So you got the breakout, ended up being a bit of a false start, shook lower, now rocketing back higher above this level. I think these Q1 highs around 120 and change, nice place to define your risk. Then it's going to be first stop at the 62% retracement, which comes in around 143. And it probably keeps climbing up the right-hand side of this base. You see how the 200-day moving average has had time to flatten and curl higher. And, I don't love to see that oversold momentum reading. But
Just barely.
a lot of these trends are messy right now. Right. You got two overbought readings here just since the summer. Not many stocks could say. And then an oversold reading. Here's what happens, right? We look at the momentum regime. We want to see in strong uptrends a stock or an asset consistently hit overbought on rallies and not hit oversold on sell-offs. What happens in sideways trends or transitional trends is you tend to get an overbought, an oversold, an overbought, an oversold, right? So there's no clear momentum profile quite yet. If and when this one really gets going and the base breakout, like the reversal is on, you want to see get overbought, stay overbought, not get oversold.
All right, I got a fun one for you. You ready? And this one goes out to Wavy. Wavy wants to short Jets, the Airlines ETF, down to its COVID lows. What do you think of that?
Wavy, man, come on here every week asking about your short setups. I don't know how you have any money left.
I mean, listen, in fairness, this thing's been very weak. It looks like it's down 11 out of the past 12 weeks.
He brings us stocks that are showing relative weakness. He brings us the right kind of stocks you would want to be shorting. It's just maybe not the right time and place. But yeah, if you're going to short something, sure. Airlines are probably low-hanging fruit. Utilities, banks, real estate. This is one of those groups. You want it to be pretty clean. My advice on this would be go look at the individual components. There's not a ton of airline stocks, right? Find the weakest one. Find one with a clean level. Delta reported today. It's just messy. I could give you a level on Jets, but it's really messy. Let me see if there's anything in Delta, American, or United. Not the best here in Delta either. Oh, this turned red. So the initial reaction, I think, was higher this morning. We talked on the morning show, but not really holding on there.
Ooh.
United. No. They're all messy.
All right.
Ooh, all right. Maybe something here. This is cleaner. So this would be my advice to you, Wavy. What a terrible looking chart this is. This looks like GM, Ford, just scrounging on the lows here. Citibank, Bank of America, they look similar. You got a really clean level. American Airlines, one of the big boys. Very liquid options market. 12? Below 12? Could short American all day. The reason I say this, because look, you have this clean level of potential support that you can trade this against. Something like Jets, I would have to draw a diagonal line. And I don't like trading against diagonal lines. So
especially shorting against a diagonal line.
Now, look, if you're just dying to short Jets, I think you could get short at the prior year-to-date lows, or actually December lows from last year. So we just took them out. So 16, so you could literally get short right here and then play it back to those 2022 lows. But that's talking about $1 and change in downside. So I don't know.
All right, well, let's move on to RKT. This one
Rocket,
comes from Nicholas Trades in the chat. Yeah,
my mortgage provider.
RKT.
Yeah. Quicken Loans, Patrick.
Yeah.
This is them.
Doesn't Rocket have that stadium in what is it?
Cleveland,
Is it Cleveland or Detroit?
Detroit,
That,
Cleveland. Isn't it like Dan Gilbert? Isn't he the guy?
yeah, I know he's like the richest guy in that state. So it must be Ohio. You're probably right.
All right. You had a base shaping up. It failed miserably, right? So we talk about how to play failed tops, right? Let's draw this out. This is a great example. We talk about how to trade failed tops, right? Now let's flip that on its head and talk about how to trade a failed bottom. See what I'm doing here, right?
Oh, yeah.
So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Does that work for you?
Okay.
Right? Okay. Failed. Where's the entry then? On a break of this right shoulder. There you go. And then where's your target? The head low. Short below 775. I mean, if you want confirmation, right, I could draw this in two ways, right? Short below 775, maybe wait for confirmation about 755 or even the pivot lows from just last week, 750-ish. And then you can run this one back to just below $6.
I like it. I like it. Hey, we're getting some questions about the dollar. It's perking up a little, breaking that 6-day losing streak.
Yep.
So why don't you take a stab at that real quick?
Great. Love that. Bulls don't love this though. I love that you guys are asking about the dollar. It's the right question to be asking right now. I've been joking internally and on our shows that three of our analysts are JC, Ian, Alfonso, all wrote about the dollar yesterday.
Hey, we used it for chart of the day yesterday.
But it's good, right? So that's information when like half of our analyst team is all looking at the same theme, like, oh my God, this is super important. I got to write about it. Probably important. You probably want to pay attention to this, right? So here's the US dollar index. I'm zooming in right now because I think this is the time frame that matters most to the people who are watching this right now. Right? If you're trying to put on short-term trades, play some sort of Q4 rally, I think the dollar has to cooperate, right? So
yeah, that's how I ended the chart of the day yesterday. I said if this thing inflects higher at 105, which it is, bulls can forget about a year-end rally. Now, of course, I mean, this one day it doesn't make a trend. Maybe it dies here and doesn't make a former high. Maybe that's wishful thinking.
Can some things still work if the dollar's above 105 into year end? Yeah. But boy, would things be easier for bulls or people trying to make money on the long side if the dollar rolled over here and fell back into this range. So right now, here today, monster candle from the dollar, really digging in. Like you said, Pat, we had this a little bit of a spooky candle from Tuesday, a little bit over a week ago. Then we had 6 straight down days, really reversing it and undoing a lot of those losses just right out here today. Yeah, this is not great for risk assets. Not good at all. You want to see this fail, roll over, get back into the range here, right? And then there's even another level around 103, 104. You got the 2017 and 2020 highs, which I think is just as big as 105.50, but over longer time frames, you would want to see that go also. But let's get back in the box first, below 105.50, below these highs from Q1 of this year.
Yeah, and you know what, Streza, we're pretty much at the end of the show here. I don't know if you want to leave it here or do you want to take a look at some more real quick?
Let's do a few more. Let's do 2 more.
Okay, real quick. I gotta hop soon. I got a interview with Jeff Hirsch. I'm very excited for that one. But let's go to DET.
DTE or DET?
DET. You know what? That doesn't look like a valid symbol.
I don't know.
Bad.
There is no DET.
Let's go to Tesla.
I've heard of that one.
You've heard of that one, right?
What are you gonna ask Jeff about?
What do you think?
Should I buy in October and get myself sober? All right.
Look at that coil.
Yeah. So Tesla, let's anchor this fib here.
There's a Tesla coil joke in there somewhere. I can't figure it out.
Ah, right. I get it. Car
Yeah.
things. So we are, and you're right. we're coiling right here and have been really since June, between the 38 and 62%. Not a surprise to see that. Again, just like talked about at the top of the show, just drop an anchored VWAP from the summer high. So it'd be like July 19th for Tesla. We're above it. Maybe wait for a trend line break. And I think you could jump this entry maybe above the pivot highs here, 270. And I think, yeah, just like the rest of these mega cap growth names, this one heads back to all-time highs again eventually. So if you want to jump it, use the trend line break here. You can get in right around 270. You get confirmation right around 290. And then we have a price target back around 412.
I like it. So Steve, I think you actually meant Detroit by DET. That is completely my bad. So yeah, that was not a ticker request there.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
But anyway, I think we got to leave it here for today. If we didn't get to you guys' tickers, be sure to email us at questions@stockmarketmedia.com, and JC or Strazer or myself will be sure to get to them on the next show.
And be sure to tune into the morning show tomorrow at 8:30. See you there.
All right, thank you guys. Bye.